let's continue the conversation on insecurities. Last week I did a video on insecurities part 1 where I explored different types of insecurities. The list wasn't exhaustive, but it was an indication of the types of insecurities that people deal with. We talked about relationship insecurities, where you feel unworthy to be loved, where you feel like someone is going to cheat on you, where you feel like someone is going to take you for granted, where you feel like all the bad things that people do to you, you deserve it. We talked about body image insecurities, where you're uncomfortable with your whole body, or you're fixated with your nose or your ears or that one part of your body. We talked about job insecurity, where you feel like you're not good enough at your job. We talked about a lot of things, and I ended the video talking about 2 things that you need to do to start working on your insecurities. I talked about self-compassion and self-love, showing yourself some grace that you show to strangers out there. And secondly, loving yourself enough to celebrate your flaws, loving yourself enough to look at yourself and say, you know what, I might be flawed on this, I might be insecure on this, but I am a damn good human being. So the video became too long and we had to do a part 2, and in this video I'm going to tell you the 5 remaining things that you can employ, that you can use, that can help you deal with insecurities. Okay, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Petronella Mnenja. I'm an author, I'm a consultant, I'm a speaker. My book, From Gokwe to Oxford, The Girl Who Dared to Dream, is available on Amazon. Please do get a copy. If you're in Zimbabwe, get in touch with me and you can get a copy at Enough Bookshop, or you can get a signed copy from my sister. So let's get into today's conversation. How do you deal with insecurities? The first thing we're going to talk about today is acknowledgement and acceptance. What I mean by this is acknowledge the place of your insecurity. What is your insecurity and where is it coming from? What this does is it helps you do the second thing that we talked about, which is acceptance. So if you look at yourself and you think, oh my God, I don't like my body, I don't like my face, I don't like my nose, I don't like my ears, I don't like my eyes, I don't like myself. Or if you feel like, oh my God, this person is so bad to me in this relationship, and a part of me feels like I deserve it. If you sit down and you acknowledge that is your insecurity, what you then need to do is to think long and hard. Where does this come from? Okay, sometimes our insecurities come because the people that we looked up to weren't affirming. Maybe it's our parents. They always told us that we have gained so much weight, we are fat, we are dull, we won't amount to anything. It's a previous relationship where your ex kept telling you that you were not good enough, you're not worthy their attention, and they're doing you a favor by loving you. Or maybe it's a teacher in school who kept telling you that you were dumb, you're stupid, whatever. What acknowledgement and what looking for the source does is it gives you a starting point to help. Okay, I'm going to put a link to the video on healing on the description for this video, and you can watch it. So once you acknowledge that this is the place where your insecurity is stemming from, you can accept it. And once you accept something, I always say this, I always tell people this, that you know what you accept, people can never use against you. So once you accept yourself as a person who is, once you accept yourself as a person who is not so confident in speaking, no one can ever use that against you. Once you accept yourself as a person who is curvy, no one can ever use that against you. But once you constantly shy away from it, once you constantly try to shield people from it, once you constantly try to hide it from people, they will find it, and once they find it, they can weaponize it and use it against you. So when you accept your insecurity, when you acknowledge where it's coming from, it gives you the strength to accept it. And the things that we accept don't have power over us. The things that we accept, we can work through. The things that we accept, we can heal through. The things that we accept, we can alter and align with who we are today. Okay, and it also acknowledgement and acceptance makes it easier for you to talk about your insecurities. There is power in talking about your insecurities to people who care about you. So say for instance, you have relationship insecurity and you don't know how to deal with it. If you actually understand where it's coming from, you can actually talk to your partner about it and say, you know what, I feel insecure about this because this happened to me in the past, and for that reason I feel insecure. And if that person is good for you, they will understand and you can heal together. If you're insecure about your job and you do the work, you can talk to your boss and you can work around confidence building and self-esteem building. You can only take these steps once you acknowledge where it's coming from and you accept it. Everything else is possible. Okay, that's the first thing. The second one is aim for progress and not perfection. I feel like this is a big one, yeah, because oftentimes we are obsessed with being perfect. We are obsessed with looking like that picture perfect person in the magazine. We are obsessed with having that curvy body or that trending look or those trending clothes. We are so obsessed with the standard of what society has deemed perfection to the point that we will drive ourselves insane. So when you look at yourself and when you look at the things that you struggle with, don't struggle and don't deal with it from this position of, I want to be so perfect, I want to be this. No. Approach your insecurities with the mentality that I want to be better, I want to work through this. If you're insecure about speaking in public, if you're insecure about wearing a particular type of skirt or whatever, start doing those things. Walk up to someone and just say hi on the subway or on the bus station or in town or whatever. Start wearing that skirt maybe in your house, wear that skirt, walk around a little bit, wear heels, just do it. So aim for progress, one step at a time, one day at a time, working through it one day at a time. Don't do the deep dive. Don't just plunge yourself into the whole, oh my God, I'm going to just be perfect. I'm just going to have that perfect body. You will put your body through things that you won't be able to recover from, or you will end up getting involved in some illegal situations to try and find this illusion of perfection that you can never achieve. So your goal when it comes to dealing with insecurities should never be perfection, but progress, one step at a time. Work through your insecurities one step at a time, okay? At your own pace, at your own standards. Never let anyone dictate how that process should look like for you. Figure it out for yourself, okay? Number 3, build a strong support system. I've done so many videos on people, okay? I've done videos where I talked about be careful who you give access to. I still stand by that. Oh, by the way, I've done videos where I've talked about you need people. You're not an island, okay? And I've done videos about telling you to be a good person. So what I mean by this is sometimes if we have people around us who are actually for us, they can actually help us work through some of the insecurities that we have. Personally, that person is my sister. Shout out to Peshi Mnenza. She's one person who understands me at all my, and she understands where I'm being angry to compensate for an insecurity. She understands where I am being angry and hurt and hyper, not necessarily because I'm being productive, but because I'm avoiding dealing with something. And she's the voice of reason in my life. She calls me out, she holds me accountable, but she also supports me. And I also have friends. I also have my mom. I have a network of people around me in different capacities who support me. So sometimes when I'm spiraling, I'm going through that phase of dealing with my insecurities and I'm just spiraling, I have people that I can pick the phone to and be like, oh my God, Kuna, this is going wrong. Or, oh my God, how do I do it? So sometimes you realize that if you have people that are actually for you, utilize those support systems, utilize those people, let them show up for you just as you would show up for yourself. And remember the golden rule on this one: there are people who care and people who are curious. The ones who are curious ask you questions so that they can pick and choose the stuff to use against you. The ones that care about you ask you information so that they actually care. So once you discover that this person actually cares for you, lean on people. We are not islands. We can't exist or live in a vacuum. We live with people. Even when God wants to bless us, He uses people. We have people all around us. So build a strong support system with people who actually are for you, who see you, and who wants what's best for you. Okay? And the fourth one is focus on the positives and accept the things that you can't change. I once did a video where I talked about 4 ways to build your confidence, okay? And I think this is somewhat related because usually when we have a loss of esteem or when we are dealing with an insecurity, it's usually us focusing all of our energy and our attention on that one thing that we can't fix, one thing that we feel is wrong about us, that one thing that we feel like makes us not good enough. So if you focus your energy so much on how you don't like your body, if you focus your energy so much on how you don't like your nose, if you focus so much on how you don't like your ears, if you invest all of your energy on how you don't like that particular thing, what that does is it blocks your vision from all the good things that you should like about yourself. It blocks your vision from all the things that you actually should like about yourself, the things that you are good at, the things that you should celebrate. So start focusing on the positives. Don't invest all of your energy telling yourself how ugly you are. Don't invest all of your energy telling yourself how not good looking you are. Don't invest all your energy pointing out your flaws and your weaknesses. No, focus on the positives, okay? Focus on the good things that you actually do. This is where you need the self-compassion that we talked about last week and the self-love, that extending that grace to yourself, extending that love to yourself that you would show a stranger on the road. It's looking at yourself and thinking, you know what? I may not like my body at this size. I may not like how I'm performing at work at this particular stage, but I am still a good friend. I am still a good cook. I'm still an amazing human being. I still love learning. I'm learning to improve my job. I'm working to manage my weight. I'm working to do all those things. So once you stop focusing on all the negatives and all the things that make you insecure, once you divert all of that attention on the positives, you realize that those insecurities, they slowly start losing their hold over you because you're not obsessing over them. And by extension, when you don't obsess over them, you don't feed into them. So we feed into our insecurities when we obsess over them, when we spend so much time thinking how bad things are. When we do stuff like that, when we do things like that, we feed our insecurities, okay? So starve that feeding scheme. Starve that placenta that feeds all the negativity to your brain and tell you how amazing you are, how not amazing you are, because you are amazing. And the last one, I saved this one for last. Not because it's the list, but I am aware that it's not something that is available to a lot of people, and I am also aware that it's something that has helped a lot of people. So I don't think I'll be doing justice to this discussion if I don't mention this, but don't ever feel like if you don't have access to this, you can't work through your issues. You definitely can. I have actually done it, but I just had to say it. The last one is talk to a therapist or a counselor. Okay, and this helps because sometimes when I talked about acknowledgement and acceptance, sometimes it's hard for us to acknowledge these things on our own. So sometimes it helps to actually have someone that you can talk through things with, and they will listen and they will help you identify certain things. So a therapist is helpful, being that sounding board and that sound of reason for you, but don't feel like you have to. If you can't afford it, rely on those and that strong support system that we talked about. Rely on actually improving and loving yourself enough to take care of your body, loving yourself enough to get some rest, loving yourself enough to do everything that you're supposed to do. So it is important to have a therapist or a counselor, but I do understand that not everyone has access to that, which is why we have all these other things that can work if we do the work intentionally and deliberately to work through our insecurities. Okay, that's it from me, guys. As always, let me know what you think in the comments and suggest some things that you would want me to talk about. And until next time.